What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, A Sip of Abundance with me, Nichelle the Orr. And I would love to just first thank you for supporting me and just following me through this journey. So another thing I would like to just touch on really quickly is this channel is going to be a multitude of different things because I am so vested in multiple areas of just like spirituality. Yes, I am into tarot, I am into hoodoo, I am into law of assumption, and at the end of the day I still believe in God. So here's the thing, I would love to preface this as just because we're learning the law of assumption, your beliefs are personal and specific to you. I am never one to judge people because we all come from different backgrounds, different races, religions, and creeds. And at the end of the day, respect is due. And so one of the things I would love to facilitate on this here channel is inclusivity. Everybody is welcome. Everybody is welcome to feel and be who they are. Your background is not going to sway me one way or another, just like my background shouldn't sway you one way or another. And I just would like to say, take the information that I say with a grain of salt because I will reference God a lot. But I understand that in the law of assumption community, that a lot of people, like to walk into their God state, and that's okay. And I do encourage that. But I'm just putting this disclaimer out. I will refer to God as an outside source for me. That's for me. And I encourage you to do what feels best for you. It's about the message, not all of the small, minute details. So let's not focus on that. This positive interaction between us is going to be just that, positive. And I am very open about who and what I am and the things that I believe. And so with that being said, let's start off with beliefs, right? Everything in life is going to boil down to what you believe. Who do you believe you are? What do you believe you deserve? All of those things tie into belief systems. And how do we create beliefs? Our experiences, our thoughts, our different lifestyles, our childhood, all of these things formulate your belief system. And if we're being honest, at this big age that I'm at, I have learned that we have to unlearn a lot of things because this information that I've learned that I want to share has caused me to unlearn terrible thinking habits. We have such limited perceptions on life, and that's the reason a lot of us stay stuck. We have these belief systems that we have to work hard or money don't grow on trees. I'm sure you heard these different terms and phrases over the years and growing up. And the reality is that doesn't have to be true. It's whatever you believe is what's going to be true for you because your perspective on life is going to be totally different from mine. So let's work on reframing our belief systems. Now, there's a multitude of ways of getting there. Some people script, some people visualize, some people have to do meditations. The possibilities are endless. How you choose to do it, if you choose to mix it up, if you choose to not do anything, you can just assume who you are and walk in that, be in that. Who are you being? And what I am very conscious of is what I attach to I am. And even something as small as saying, oh my God, I'm so tired. That I am is extremely important. And just being more cognizant of what it is that I am saying or thinking or feeling. Even though I feel physically tired, I have to tell myself that I am well, I am healthy, I am able to move around, I am productive. Like I have to remind myself to do these things in order to switch the belief system because it's very easy to fall into those patterns. And the bigger thing that we all are not really monitoring is those internal thoughts, those internal conversations that we're having with ourselves. When things are going wrong, and we have these thousands and thousands of thoughts going on in our mind, it's very easy to get lost and dwell in negativity. And what I've learned, and it has taken time, I still have my moments because baby, I am human. What I've learned is that you absolutely have to learn how to spiral upward. Even in the face of adversity, how you react to things is going to be the determining factor of what happens next. And I say all that to say, be careful about what it is you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're saying, and being more conscious of the thoughts that you have. And don't get me wrong, it's not to say that you're not going to have a human experience. You're not going to get angry. You're not going to get upset. But if you can control those thoughts and those emotions from going into rage and going into depression and going into frustration, if you can find a way to stop yourself in the middle of that, it's interesting to see. It's like a time lapse or like a time collapse where there's a shift. And even though you may be frustrated, even though you may be upset, even if all you can think of is, oh my God, it's going to work out, 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 it's going to work out. Even if it's that, it's a matter of forcing yourself. You have to force yourself to change how you're feeling in the moment. And guess what? Sometimes it may feel a little crazy, you may feel a little delusional, but it does help to tell yourself, no, this is working out in my favor. It may not look the way I want it to look right now. It may not seem that way. I may not be able to see it, but you don't know what's on the other side. And the only way to even get close to a better result is to focus yourself in those moments of disparity and truly hone in on, no, this is working out in my favor. Even if it doesn't look like it. You hear all of the time these stories where people are telling you, or you're witnessing, where it looks like nothing is going right, but they like, no, I know it don't look like the way I thought it was going to look, or it didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work. I still know that what it is that I am trying to achieve, or what I'm accomplishing, or what am I desiring, is on the other side of that, and I have to remain focused. So again, what do you believe? Do you believe you are worthy of having the things that you want? And here's the thing, hot topic, my channel is just this: do what feels right for you. If you feel like you absolutely need to hone in on some shadow work, babe, go do it. If you don't feel like you need to, that's okay too. You don't have to. No one's forcing you. But I will say some things, because we all have different experiences, I'm not going to sit here and ever tell anybody not to deal with things in a healthy manner, whether it be therapy, EFT tapping, scripting, journaling, whatever it is you need to do. Make sure that you are dealing with it in a healthy way, because the last thing we would want for anybody is a massive crash out that ends up being something to deteriorate what you already have going on, or further decrease the amount of progress that you've had. And don't get it messed up. At the end of the day, you can absolutely have, be, and do whatever it is you want to do. But being able to say, okay, listen, I understand that this is happening, but this is what I desire, so I'm not giving up. That persistence, that determination, that drive is what's going to fuel that energy and that momentum. And guess what? Sometimes it can take time. But sometimes the moment you decide that this is not what you're dealing with, things do change. But you have to decide. What are you deciding every single day when you wake up? What are you deciding? In those moments where you're frustrated, what are you deciding? Decide. And guess what? The beautiful thing about this is you can want this today, and then you wake up a week later and be like, you know, I don't want this no more. You have the power to change whatever it is that you want to change. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is forever. I have seen, if we want to use the word miracles, happen. And I'm going to go in deep depth about my transformation and my move, because that is what really drove down to the power of thoughts and belief for me, because I did something that it seems hard. And the thing is, you can tell yourself that I can do hard things. Not that we want to do hard things, but some things, if we're being honest, are very difficult because of various aspects. And just as a premise to let in on what I mean by that is, I left everything I know and love, family, friends, and, you know, just my environment of where I've grown up, where I come from. And I took myself and my son and I moved across the country, just us. And we've been here about 6 months, and this is the happiest I have ever been in my entire life. But the process of getting there was not the easiest. Did it take time? Absolutely. But what happened was I decided in 2023, I believe, I want to say it was like May of 2023, I decided, I just knew that I was moving to Texas. I just knew. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, I didn't know the how. Like, the biggest thing was the how. Like, how am I going to get here? Because I'm looking at my bank account and I'm looking at like life, and I'm just like, how is this supposed to happen? And I do want to share that story, but I understand that there's only so much that you can say. We could be here for hours if I really sat and gave every detail, but I do intend to share that story because there's so many people that feel like they don't belong in a particular place. And then with me saying that, I want to also say, I still believe in, aspects of astrology and everything like that, but I understand it on a deeper level because there's so many different factors that goes into this. And also, me moving to Texas had a lot to do with astrocartography, which is like astrology, but it's based off of the world map. And we all have certain lines that are indicative of different planets, and the different planets have different influences in our lives. And I knew that the things that I wanted to do at this current moment in my life required some structure and discipline. And I've been having the feeling of moving for years. So I said, you know what? It's time for me to be obedient. It's time for me to listen, because deep down, what I needed to do had always been there. I was just either afraid or wasn't sure how to do it, or for me, it just didn't make sense. I can oftentimes be very logical, and it just never made sense. So I was just like, why would I do that? And I had put it off for over 10, 12 years, however long it's been. But then just recently it was just like, no. And I made a decision. Me making that decision truly has put me in the best position ever. And it's only getting better and better. Like, I used to affirm, I don't do it anymore, I think because I believed or talked myself into building this new belief system that every day in every way, things are getting better and better. And that was Dr. Silva who had coined that one. And I had meditated to that for months, for years. Now I believe it's a belief for me because I don't have to affirm it or really think too much about it. But every now and then I might, have a moment because life, right? It's getting better and better, and my life has tremendously gotten better and better, and I love to see my growth. And so this also too, for me, is a way to document my growth, because all I can say is I'm thankful, I'm grateful. When I think about some of the things that I've gone through, whether it be relationships, whether it be friendships, over the years, even family, I'm grateful for it all because it put me in a position to be where I am today. And I want to have real world conversations. I don't want to just tell you to do this, tell you to do that. I do think we learn best by experience. And sometimes you need somebody else's experience in order to feel like, oh my God, I can do this too. Nothing is impossible. Yes, we all have different means. We all have different opportunities. We all have different circumstances. But guess what? Circumstances don't matter. And I'm not saying I was at the worst place in my life, but I surely wasn't at the best place in my life. And I've had to overturn situations of fear because I was just so afraid. And at the end of the day, on the other side of my fear was simply happiness. But I was never going to know that if I didn't take a leap of faith, or if I didn't trust in myself enough. And for me, because at that time I needed something outside of me, I was just like, you know what, God got it. Whatever's for me is going to be for me. And I had to be okay with that. Regardless of what my family said, regardless of what my friends said, regardless of what anybody said, I had to do what was best for me. So what I want for people to do is figure out, what do you believe? And if you don't like what you believe, you can change what you believe into new thoughts. Because at the end of the day, you have to think yourself into something different. But with thought comes action. And that's something that I think gets a little bit misconstrued. And as everybody's saying, you can just assume it. Yeah, it's a little bit more than that, because I didn't just lay in bed and affirm, I'm moving to Texas, I'm moving to Texas. No, that's not how that happened. Because with knowing that, opportunities in turn opened up for me. Situations opened up for me. Roads opened up for me. And there was action that had to come behind that. So I do think that there is a little bit of a misunderstanding on you don't have to take action. Yeah, you do, but you have to be careful of the type of action. If you're going out there trying to force things or try to be in control of things, that's where there's a little bit of a mix-up or an issue, because oftentimes we're often acting out of what we want in that moment because of instant gratification versus going where we're intuitively told to go. And I think that's what the issue is, because inspired action, you don't know what's inspired action until after it's been done. You don't think, especially in terms of like, I'll just use this for an example, the whole SP conversation. You're not thinking, oh, let me text them, that was the inspired action. No, that's not typically how that works. If you had to think about it before and you're questioning it, then 9 times out of 10, that's not inspired action. Usually, the things that occur on your everyday, natural, day-to-day basis that may not have seemed like you would have done normally, and then it's like, wait a minute, okay, this is why that happened, and it's something to consider when we're talking about inspired action. But again, that's a whole nother video. There's so many different aspects of this that I would like to touch on and give detail to, so we can work together to change our lives. Because at the end of the day, I don't believe we were created to suffer. I don't believe we were created to be upset and pain and poverty. And I'm not saying everybody has a desire to be rich. Some people just want to be comfortable, and that's okay too. Some people want to be rich. They want to be famous. They want these accolades. And guess what? That's okay too. Don't ever let anybody make you feel less than for wanting what you want. And you have to also be mindful of the company that you keep. And that's just being honest. Because sometimes everything and everybody and even environments are not the best for us, especially if we're looking to grow. Sometimes you have to pull back. Sometimes you have to dissociate. Sometimes you got to cut them off. You have to be honest with yourself. But the other part of it is you can have anything that you want. Now, I'm not strictly a law of assumption coach or mentor. No, I'm speaking from my personal experience and what I truly believe may be the best. And I will definitely touch on specific people. I will touch on school. I will touch on work situations, because at the end of the day, you're able and capable of having whatever it is you want. You don't have to work and kill yourself for anything. You don't have to rob Peter to pay Paul. You literally can have a comfortable life. It's but the actions and the decisions that you're making today, which is going to determine that. And I want to help you guys get there. So follow me on this journey. But for today, that is it. I would absolutely like to thank you guys for, listening to this one. And I hope you got something good out of it. And what I would also encourage is grab a notebook, because I'm a writer. That's just what I do. But I do understand that sometimes when you write things down and you're able to see a tangible list of things that you're wanting to accomplish, you're more prone to actually get those things done, regardless of how they happen. So I would like to say until next time, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, bye guys.